and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's the background track that I've recently produced for the Pizza Music Festival. So we pump it up so that people can wake up. Alright, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Are we all ready? Thank you so much, DJ Dan, right behind me. First of all, thank you for joining Apidays. This is my first stop and I love it. And thank you for organizing such a lovely event. And I'm privileged that I'm standing in front of you and trying to share a small story. I hope it's not going to be boring. I'm going to explore the transformative journey and the synergy between design thinking and API and different tools and technologies that I've used that help to solve a problem, and we'll see some use case about it. He mentioned that I am a passionate product owner at MLC Life, but I love music. That's a mesmerizing word for me. Whenever I'm stressed, I put on music. And by day, I'm a senior product owner at MLC Life, and by night, I transform into Batman and try to become DJ Antidote, Melbourne's first YouTuber, DJ, and Instagram influencer. Today, I'll be presenting a small about the second part as a musician, that how am I able to transform the journey using the principle of design thinking and a bit of APIs, and I'm excited to talk about my story. So let's start with the theory. Design thinking theory. I'm pretty sure you all are feeling like this little girl is like, oh my god, one more theory. Please, Anikesh, kill me. But trust me, it's going to be very interactive over here. How many of you know about design thinking or heard about it? Show of hands will do. That's good. And how many of you are actually implementing it on your daily life or everywhere? Alright, it's interesting. Well, I've got a definition which says design thinking is a customer-focused innovation methodology emphasizing empathy, rapid prototyping, creative ideation, revolutionize product, service, organization, development, relying on genuine customer needs, historical data, and instinctual decisions. It took me a while to remember this, but still I couldn't, so I'm reading it out. But this is all definition. Nobody will remember. But what design thinking is all about is what truly a human being desires. You can see this path, and I'm pretty sure you guys come across this path all the time. There's a paved way where you can, take some extra steps, take the road and go away. But there is another human-made path just over here, as you can see, that people have used it. That means people actually desire to take some shortcuts. It's a human thing, and desirability is all about that. And let's see if, our planning department use some design thinking, understanding the human-centric problem to do something about it. I have a photo for that, and it's in Melbourne. So design thinking is basically about desirability, what makes sense to the people and for the people, and what is viable, which is what is likely to become a part of a sustainable business. How can you scale from there? And it is technically possible or not, feasibility. So the sweet spot over there is the innovation. So you've applied most of these principles and try to see if it is applied. For the previous photo that you showed, you've seen that there was a path which people made, and that was a data that people actually made that path by walking through that over and over again. There was an implementation here, and this is in Melbourne, right in Golden State, in front of Carlin Institute. You can see they've actually paved that path, and I can see in the morning every day. I generally take that step because it's lesser and quicker to come to office. So they have actually implemented it, and this is how people desire, and this is how you can actually apply some principles and try to solve it. And it goes through a process of few phases. There's a 5 phase. When it got discovered, it started with empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. It was linear first, and then over the period of time, it got changed into non-linear. So right now, you can empathize and directly go and prototype with your customer to run a campaign and see and test it out. How is their feedback? And if it's not working, then come back and again define it and ideate and prototype. So it doesn't need to go through all the phases. But when it comes to large scale or big organization, sometimes it's hard to rapidly empathize, define, and then prototype, and then scrap, and then start again. So sometimes but it sometimes becomes very ineffective, I would say, from a cost perspective. But if you're running a campaign or you want to experiment with the user, this is a new product that I want to launch, whether it's viable or not, do a wireframe and launch it to the customer and see how are they reacting. And if they're reacting well, then let's get into prototype and build it. Let's see a few examples at each stages of design thinking. There are some APIs and tools that you can use to empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. For example, traditionally, until now, I think so a lot of people use survey forms to empathize with the customer, take feedback as, from a postman we come to know that people have filled out a form, or you can actually use social media APIs to understand your customer. There are 4.5 billion users in the world, and then there are around 2.3 hours. There's a stats that I'll show. Social media like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter tells you what are the people actually reacting to, how are they behaving in the society. And then you can use some natural language processing in Google or IBM and use Google Trends to find out what is trending. I'll show you an example where I use Google Trends to find out what is trending and how I built a small prototype out of it and tried to work it out, and there was a good reaction from the people. And at the ideation stage, you can use a geolocation API or a payment API to build your gateway. Then in prototype stage, again, you can use your payment integration APIs or the apps to build a payment gateway if you want, or if you're building a website, you can use Material API. To test, Google Analytics does the job. It tells you how are the people reacting. There's Optimizely API as well, which tells you how the customer behaving, on-click rates, how are they moving from one screen to another screen. But those are paid ones. So these are a few examples that I've gathered. There's heaps, and I think so the landscape that Apidays have in their website covers most of that, so you can leverage from there as well. Let's see a use case. This is a small website that I had built, and the challenge that I had was I had a small DJ deck that I got it in 2016 when I moved to Australia, and I never played it. So I decided during lockdown I'll do something because I'm bored. So I decided to start a company, and during that time the music industry was dead. There was no events outside, there was no parties, there was no music festivals. So a lot of people came to me and said like starting a DJ business or a music production house at that time would not be right. It's a dying business for the next 2 years. But at that particular period of time, what I did was I tried to empathize with social media again, leveraging Facebook Graph, Instagram, APIs to understand what is the usage, how are they using it, what are the different areas they are looking for. And a small stats about it is this is the one that I was talking about. There's like 4.8 billion, this is April 2023 stats. 4.8 billion users, 2 hours 24 minutes they use it, average, it's used about 3.2% year-on-year change on social media. So out of that, I thought, how do I define what do I want to show at the first place? So I use Google Trends, as I said, and I searched for YouTube vlog, and you can see there are 2 spikes over there. That is during the hard lockdown. So people started watching YouTube, and there was like day in, day out, they wanted to watch vlog. So I decided, okay, let's start first vlog of the day, day 1 lockdown in Melbourne, 1 hour. Dan Andrews asked us to go out, so we went out. I took a small video and put it up in my YouTube channel, and a lot of people liked it. It's like, wow, that's something that's really engaging. And there were a few cafes as well which was open, and they were not doing great. So I tried to film them and take a coffee from them, talk about their problem at that point of time and how they want to overcome and what are the challenges that they're facing. And based on that, there were few feedbacks, and then my content that I used to put, like, this is my first DJ vlog showcasing city of Melbourne. So I tried to put it in Google Cloud NLP and try to understand the sentiment. There was some negative, there was some positive, there was some neutral ones. So I tried to make sure that my comments or the content that I'm putting or the data that I'm putting is not negatively impacting anyone, because at that point of time, a lot of people were actually going through some difficulties. So from there, I thought, what is the easiest, cheapest thing to do? Because my problem statement was pretty straightforward. I didn't have money to invest on technology. I don't have still the skill sets to go ahead and write a code. And time. So I thought let's start DJ Antidote Google business and see how it works, because out of the box it's free of cost, doesn't charge me anything. So I opened it up and then I hooked up my Instagram to the Google business, and then I built a small MVP website out of Wix, which is an out-of-box feature. But the great thing over there is that you can link up your G4 tagging and SEOs and everything, which does the job. And as I said, there's a developer mode in Wix as well, where you can code and integrate everything, but I didn't have that skill set. Neither had the money to spend on the development team. So it's like, okay, let's do a drag and drop feature and see how it works in the market. If it works, well, it does the job. If not, then we'll see how we can scale after that. And fortunately enough, it worked. This is how the Wix content management platform looks like. There's a lot of templates in that one. You can use it, upload your pictures, and talk about your story over there. It has got the basic functionality, but there is a dev mode over there, as you can see at the top, where you can actually code and integrate with different platforms. What I did was I used the SEO out of the box feature over here, integrated with Google, and G4 tagging, which was definitely helping me to understand, how many people are clicking, what is the impression. And there's a slide at the back as well, which will show you how much time they're actually spending on my website. By that, I realized how much content I should put on the website. It should not be too lengthy. It should be like they can look at it. Okay, book DJ, book the musician, book for the production or the events that they want. So after this, I tried to test it out with few users and see how, took some real-time feedback from my friends, and use the Google Analytics G4 tagging, but I've tagged it to the Wix website, which actually tells you there was over the period of 2022, there were around 357 site visits and 256 unique visitors. And as I said, 3 minutes 4 seconds was the spend time. So I made sure that content is very spick and span. Who am I? What are the videos? What are they going to get? And what are the products that we offer from our business? And out of 256, I was able to make some 52 gigs last year, which means all the weekends were booked out. So it's not bad to start with. And also it gives me the locations from where they're actually visiting, because I come from India. You can see there are a few people in India as well. There are a few friends in America who are visiting, but I'm not sure why they're visiting from China. But I'm pretty sure why, because I got few calls from them they were selling actually the lights and the speakers from there, because they're the manufacturers. So they wanted to sell me some wholesale products. So it's like, yeah, sure, why not? And out of that, the result is this. So right now I've got some 100K followers in Instagram, and on a daily basis, the post reach is around 14,000. And the engagement is 39.9K, because I make sure that content goes through those phases of design thinking to understand whether it's actually helping the customer who wants to book me in or who wants to look at music in general. So this is how I try to do it in the most cheapest way, I would say. So I just paid $200 for the domain, but remaining everything was the free tool that I was able to gather. And yeah, thankfully, touch wood, again, did some good business last year. And that's me. Pretty simple. Any questions?